So good morning, everyone, and welcome to APS Berlin. And also Merry Christmas, right? I don't know about yourself, so I wasn't feeling particularly festive until I walked into the foyer this morning and just saw that absolutely stunning, incredible tree. So well done to APS on this incredible venue. I hope you all had a safe journey to the venue today. I did hear some of you were out partying already last night, so perhaps there's a few sore heads in the room. I'll try and not shout too loudly today for you. So I'm not Michael. I'm also not Russ Young. Russ Young is the name in the agenda for today. Unfortunately, Russ came down with COVID yesterday. Russ is the MD for EMEA for Data.ai, so I'm stepping in. My name's David Woods. I'm the Director of Sales. So if you're going through the sales purchase or engage with Data.ai, you'll very much get a chance to meet me. Some of you may know Data.ai. Hopefully most of you know App Annie. We used to be called App Annie and rebranded, which I'll talk about shortly as well. So we're going to go through a few things today. We're going to start with an icebreaker. You've had a chance to meet me, not Russ or Michael, and I'd love to meet you all. That's going to take more than the 15 minutes I have today. So we're going to go through a quick icebreaker, and then we'll be touching on who Data.ai are. Then we'll be running on some mobile trends that we saw in 2022, and then what were some predictions and forecasts and strategies for 2023, and we'll try and do this all in 15 minutes. So it's the green one to go forward. Cool, so a little bit of an icebreaker just before we get into the strategies. So can anyone, and there's no really right answer or wrong answer to this one, just a bit of fun. Can anyone name an app that's benefited massively from the current World Cup that's outside the sports vertical? Any ideas, any suggestions, any apps that you know of that have benefited massively outside of sports? Okay. Order. Yeah, good one, delivery, sorry, lots of those, right? The one that I'm going to touch on today, before we get into that, is McDonald's. So, where are we? So McDonald's, for example, jumped 100 places due to their World Cup campaign, Come to McDonald's, becoming the fourth most downloaded app in Germany yesterday. Jumped 100 places alone due to that sort of campaign. And probably are going to jump another load of places or see that sort of growth continue today when Germany play this evening. And in the US, where, sorry football fans, we're going to call it soccer for a second. And in the US, soccer, McDonald's has been the fastest, well, soccer is the fastest growing sport currently in the US. And on the day of the US-Iran match, thanks to their Coming to McDonald's campaign, their app was the fourth most downloaded app, again, behind Peacock and Fox, which was the World Cup streaming apps over there. So just a little bit of insight there into how current events or things that are going on in the world can hugely influence app downloads. So something to keep an eye on as we go forward. McDonald's have put a lot of this down to what they call second screening, which I think is something we all do nowadays. We'll all be sitting there watching TV, but also playing on our phones sort of at the same time. All right, so you've met me. I've met some of you via the icebreaker. I want to talk about App Annie very quickly just to introduce us. So we rebranded to Data.ai earlier this year for a couple of reasons. One, when we started App Annie was App and App Analytics. We're now bringing data in from a wealth of different sources into our platform. And the AI is also leveraging further insights. So rather than just giving you data, what's going on in the world, and give you insights and predictability information based on AI. So a bit of a marketing spew for you quickly. Our analytics platform helps you develop, grow, and optimize digital business with intelligence that fuels strategy and action, trusted by some of the world's leading brands that you'll see in a second. And our mission is to be the first unified data AI company that combines consumer market data to provide insights powered by artificial intelligence. And just some of the brands we work there today. Perfect. All right, so let's get on to some market trends. We're going to dive into these three sectors: downloads, consumer spend, and engagement individually in a second, but we'll touch on these at a high level first of all. Downloads, just for reference, our definition of downloads is net new downloads, so not pre-installed apps and not reinstalls. Consumer demand for the mobile services and products are at all-time high. In H1 of 2022, downloads were up 13% year on year, and we'll talk about what was driving that in a second. In terms of consumer spend, however, consumer spend is actually beginning to drop a little bit. We've seen consumer spend drop in H1 compared to last year. Perhaps people are spending a lot more time in apps or a lot more money due to COVID. Now we're coming out of COVID, but clearly the current macroeconomic situation, cost of living, and the world at the moment, inflation, whatever, is having a slight effect on consumer spend. But engagement and good news for marketeers out there, for those of you in the room, Engagement's an all-time high. Nearly 2 trillion hours were spent on Android phones globally in H1, which is a record high, and up 11% year on year. Clearly, we're all in the right industry. Mobile is continuing to grow very strong. So in summary, consumer spend has softened due to inflation and macroeconomic environment after consumers' wallets. However, mobile time and downloads are a record high. So let's dive into downloads a little bit further. As we mentioned, global demand for mobile apps is up 13%. However, when we drill down, there's kind of two different stories here. A lot of this growth is being fueled by emerging markets. So, for example, the Brazils, Indonesia, Mexicos, Vietnams of the world. These are seeing huge growth, and there's massive opportunity there for more and more downloads. However, we're definitely seeing a softening in the more mature markets. So the Canadas, the US, the UK, the Germany, the France. So, for example, the UK and Germany both saw a 3% year-on-year decline in mobile app downloads. So I think one strategy potentially we could look at here is if you are able to, if you're in the mobile world and want to put your app into an emerging market, that can be great for some organic growth. But if you're in one of the more mature markets, definitely time to really double down on your app marketing strategy. We talked a little about consumer spend. So in 2022, globally 64 billion was spent in apps. But that is 3% slowdown sort of year on year. But however, it's still 28% up from where it was 2 years ago at the onset of the pandemic. Once again, similar sort of story, seeing huge growth in consumer spend in Brazil, Mexico, Hong Kong, but seeing a slight decline in some other regions, the more mature regions. Germany, for example, had a 10% decline year-on-year spending in consumer. Once again, we probably put that down to a few different things, really. I think the economic situation. However, also, I think Europe had a very hot and warm sort of summer, so therefore, naturally, people are out and about and perhaps spending a little less time in apps than they were historically. So, once again, engagement was sort of record at 5.4 hours per day. So on average across the world, users spending 4.5 hours a day in apps. I think I spend a bit more than that, which is shocking, something I need to try and control. In Germany, for example, though, just 3.4 hours a day. So a bit better controlled for those Germans out there using their phones. 25% of the wake-up time is spent in apps in Germany. So this is great for marketeers, right? What have you seen? That there's more apps being downloaded, and people are spending more time looking at apps as well. So I think for businesses out there, if you want to, this is the growth channel. That's what people need to be focusing on. As I understand, about 22% of this room, if everyone came in who was upstairs or should be attending today, is gaming. So about 22% of this presentation is also aligned to gaming. So I want to touch on that quickly. Gaming downloads. So over the intervening months since Apple's depreciation of the IDFA and the launch of ATT for advertising targets, we've seen Google Play become the preferred platform for testing and launching new titles due to the fact that it hasn't yet implemented those Apple sort of strict privacy changes. Privacy enhancements have also contributed to vertical integration as mobile game publishers have acquired advertising technologies to gain a more sort of competitive edge. Gaming remains a dominating spending factor in both app stores. And in fact, 61% of total app store spending in H1 this year was in gaming. Consolidation has also been the name of the game in the gaming industry, as several top mobile publishers were acquired by the larger gaming companies, which in turn we predict is going to lead to more PC and console-born IPs entering the sort of mobile space. I think other evolutions impacting the mobile gaming market currently are the court rulings around the world that are opening up the doors to alternative payment systems, and of course the restrictions in China, which are blocking new game launches in that market, forcing companies to look for opportunities outside their home market. So at a high level, you could say the games got a little harder for gaming companies. However, in good news, on the upside, 25 new games managed to break into the top 100 grossing gaming apps in 2021, compared to only 19 in 2020 and far less the year before. So and also the time that it's taken for a game to break into the top 100 list after launching has decreased each year as well. So in 2021, it only took 4 months on average for a new game to reach the top 100. Titles with larger than typical launch budgets and strong IP to support the increased spending have definitely helped sort of drive this metric when we analyze which games they are. So despite the gaming market being a very well mature market, it's still very realistic to launch a new IP and break into that market and gross and earn well. But clearly vital that the gaming companies out there have the right marketing UA strategy and in-game retention initiatives to help drive this revenue growth. Perfect, so I've got 4 minutes, 38 seconds left, so we're going to touch on 3 or 4 more slides, some strategies for 2023. We're going to touch very briefly on talking about market signals, how Data.ai can help with that. We're talking about benchmarking your performance against competitors, something that's vital that we all do, and the continued focus on user acquisition and ASO. So there were 36.7 million downloads in Q3 in 2022. So maximizing growth and revenue in today's digital landscape is very complex. Most publishers and brands that we meet lack the granular insights to drive effective consumer strategies. The challenge that a lot of people tell us is that the mobile app store categories are quite antiquated, causing internal teams to spend a lot of bandwidth and spending a lot of time researching and manual analysis of competitors. What you can see something on here is we've made our own taxonomy of the sort of app world. So this is what we call App IQ. It's a very granular taxonomy. We have 19 headline, top high-level genres and 152 subgenres, and we break apps into those sort of categories. It's a unified and streamlined way to classify apps consistently across the App Store. App IQ also allows you to identify all the features from monetization methods, social features to give a comprehensive overview of an app. We're looking at breaking the global breakdown of downloads by genre and subgenre. You can see that utility and productivity, the most significant with tools, VPNs, personalization, subgenres, representing the largest portions within this genre. Entertainment being the second, including short videos like TikTok or music on audio apps as well. And you can kind of get a clear and granular market sizing that goes a layer deeper than the App Store categories here. So you can really begin to, when you're comparing your app or comparing your digital channels, you can begin to get a much closer match than the App Store taxonomy may give you. Secondly, publishers and app generators, they need to keep tabs on the competition. However, it's very difficult to understand the sort of areas that you need to look at: acquisition, engagement, sentiment, monetization. How well are you doing against your competitors in these sort of 4 key areas? So we've recently launched what we call the mobile performance score. We're hoping that this is going to become like a credit score for apps. You can get this free on our Pulse app now, if you can download that, and you can then begin to see your app or your competitors' apps or any app in the world. It's kind of mobile performance score based upon these 4 sort of metrics: acquisition, engagement, sentiment, monetization. We do have a stand upstairs today, so if anyone's keen to understand how we score these sort of 4 engagement metrics, pop along to the stand and we can explain that for you. But the nice thing is you can put your app in here, you can put your competitors' apps in here, put any app in there, and you can begin to see how you're competing. I'm from the UK, so perhaps if I'm Sainsbury's, I can see how I'm doing against Tesco's in acquisition, engagement, sentiment, and monetization. Then I can dive into these and really begin to break it down and very easily, quickly understand where I need to focus to grow my business. Being told 1 minute left. So I think it's core. We continue to see apps grow and grow, and the mobile business grow and grow. So we really want to help brands with the apps optimization. We want to help you find the best keywords. We have tools that will help you optimize your budgets, details about your app store page and how to A/B test and optimize those as well, and also truly give you analyzed customer sentiment. So rather than making you dive through hundreds, if not thousands of reviews, we can highlight the features and upgrades that you need to do to drive your business forward. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you. That's nearly me at time. What I would say is next week we're releasing in fact, 2 weeks' time, sorry, we're releasing our 5 mobile forecasts for 2023. But if anyone wants to come and visit our stand today, we're happy to email you an early access version of that as a thank you for coming to our stand. So thank you. Enjoy APS and hope to meet many more of you later on. Thank you.